In some breaking news, WWE announced some major releases today as part of budget cuts that are likely due to the merger with UFC and Endeavor. And we have some absolutely big names here. I'm Omer Q for Real Take Wrestling. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's get right into it. WWE releases today announced they are still ongoing. The biggest name, of course, of all of them, Dolph Ziggler, former WWE World Champion Dolph Ziggler, released from the company. Along with him, there's Mustafa Ali, Elias, Emma, Elias, Madcap Moss, Top Dollar as well, released today as part of these budget cuts. Again, the names are still being announced as of this recording, but I wanted to fill everyone in on what we know about this situation so far. It is absolutely insane news to hear some of these wrestlers' names be associated with a release, especially someone like Dolph Ziggler, who, say what you want about his latter run in WWE or the last few years, he was very important for a very long time and pushed at one point to be one of their top stars. And yet here we are just now, and he's no longer part of the company. Like, all the things that people want to say about Dolph Ziggler, we'll talk about him first. He's a guy who you never really could picture. Like, we all talked about, what would Dolph Ziggler outside of WWE look like? What would he look like? What could he do? We knew that he has the talent. We know that he is pound for pound like one of the best performers in the ring. That's no question. But, like, would he ever be able to leave WWE? Would he ever leave out of his own accord WWE? It doesn't look like that's the case. He was released today. And it's like, that's the most shocking name to me on this list. I mean, Mustafa Ali is one of those weird ones where it's a bit of it's a shock that they would actively, willingly let him go. But at the same time, I'm like, this is Mustafa Ali, who just like maybe a year and a half ago, announced that he did no longer want to work for WWE. Maybe it was 2 years ago. But he announced that he went on Twitter and he did this thing where he basically said that, I don't want to work here anymore. I do not want to work for WWE. I want my release. He requested his release via Twitter. It was very public, and WWE just kind of let him sit on it, and they didn't do anything. And lo and behold, just a few months later, he was back on TV, and he was back doing what Mustafa Ali does best, and that is be on TV and be a wrestler. And it's interesting, a few of these names, Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, I believe Emma as well. Like, these were people who went down and did some stuff in NXT. Of course, Dolph Ziggler went down and became the NXT champion at some point last year. I believe it was around WrestleMania. And then Mustafa Ali recently went down to NXT, and they were part of like this influx of talent who were kind of going back and forth. Like, they didn't really have much for them on the main roster. Baron Corbin, of course, was another one of those guys who was, main roster guy, but he was going on NXT. But here we are. I'm just learning right now, by the way. I'm just learning right now. Shelton Benjamin has been released by WWE. As of this recording, live right in front of me, Shelton Benjamin has been released by WWE. Another guy who, he's been around a while. Shelton Benjamin's been around a while, and it's unfortunate to see him get released. It's a terrible day in general. These releases aren't the only thing that happened in WWE this week. I want to also acknowledge that there were staff cuts in WWE. Over, I believe, somewhere around, I should say, 100 staff were let go from the company as part of this merger, and to get rid of redundancies and all that fun stuff. Not so fun stuff, I should say. But yeah, Shelton Benjamin, I'm just learning right now as I'm recording this, has been released by WWE. Guess we're not getting that reunion with Bobby Lashley and Cedric Alexander, are we? Unfortunate. Going back to Mustafa Ali, all the talent in the world, never had the creative behind him, never had the machine behind him, never had the plans behind him, did he? It sucks, because especially me as a Pakistani guy, I love seeing Mustafa Ali on my screen. I love seeing him wrestle. He provides, for me, that like extra spark and interest to watch WWE. So sucks to see him go. But he is, of course, you hate to see anyone get released, but he is someone who I don't think will be out of work for too long. I could very easily see Mustafa Ali going to AEW. Like, and he's like the one person on this list that I'm very confident. Like, I could be like, if I had to pick one person to like actively like say like, oh, this person can and probably will go to AEW, it is Mustafa Ali, 100%. I think like he fits. He is just like I said, all the talent in the world there. Another guy we need to talk about, Elias. Walk with Elias. It is insane how over Elias was, and sustainably over Elias was for basically his entire run on television, because he was off TV for a while. He came back as his brother. He played his own brother on TV. Like, that's my brother Elias doing the whole like Joseph Chris Park thing, and it almost feels like they wasted it. Like, we feel like we say this with all of these talent, because here's a guy who got himself over. He couldn't play, like, he could barely play the guitar, but he got himself over, and he did a concert. He got to do a segment on the Raw After Mania with The Undertaker. Like, there was so much stuff that he did that was entertaining and that mattered and was cool. And it just feels like they never had that like one big feud with Elias. They never like, I'm not gonna say pull the trigger. Yeah, you're not gonna make him world champion overnight, but like, like they never pulled the trigger with really anything with Elias. He just kind of was like, he came out, did the walk with Elias stuff. There was a lot of momentum on it. It was kind of reminding me of the Miro Day stuff. Like, it was hype. People were hyped about it, but at the end of the day, like, few segments, few chants, and it kind of just died down, and they just forgot about it. And I mean, WWE kind of just forgot about it. So hopefully I'm sure he will find somewhere else to go. Of course, Emma, another very surprising name on this list. Someone who you could argue is, along with Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali, like the best wrestlers on this list. Emma was released from the company. Now, she's been off TV for a while. She made a return to WWE in the post-pandemic era. But weird to see her like not being used, especially in a situation where like on NXT you're trying to build up the younger talent. Like, she could have very easily fit in there and done more, I think, there than she ended up doing. And it's, again, one of those things that just sucks about the way that WWE under the Vince McMahon era, and I'm gonna call this the Vince McMahon era 2.0. Just kind of like they had NXT 2.0, we got Vince 2.0. People just get forgotten about. People just don't get used. And this was someone, Emma, who, man, like, you could have had her just go out there and have kick-ass matches. You did not need storyline with Emma. She's that good. You could have her go be awesome in the ring and just let it speak for itself. Get younger talent over. Like, to me, I don't understand this one, because to me, I'm like, there's so much value in having someone like that on your roster. But apparently to WWE, they seem to think they have it figured out and they don't need that. All right, moving on to Aaliyah. Aaliyah is a very interesting story because, she kind of, she didn't, make the mold of the current, I think, like, day. Like she, what I'm trying to say is that, Aaliyah wasn't this technician, right? Like, because in the current day, you need like a lot of technicians. Like, there's a big focus on in-ring work, but she's someone who got better, really, really better over time. Like, it was noticeable. Her ring presence got better. Like, she knew where the camera. She was getting it. And like, I think towards the end, especially when she won those tag titles, she got it. I think she actually got it, and it all clicked. We haven't seen her on TV for a little bit. Of course, her big claim to fame, her biggest moment was doing that, thing with Natty where she beat Natty in a couple seconds. But I don't know. This was someone who I thought was going to be perfect for WWE, who I thought they would be able to build around, but not the case. Others on this list include Madcap Moss, who was released. he hasn't been used, or he's been used sparingly since him and Baron Corbin broke up. So that's unfortunate. Top Dollar was released. They brought back Hit Row and they released Top Dollar now. I that to me is an interesting choice. I'm not sure where Hit Row go from here. Oh my God. I was gonna say, Jesus. I just saw something from. Okay, never mind. Fake account. I was like, oh God. But I'm trying to check in real time for y'all while I'm recording this for some of these releases because this is wild. But Top Dollar released again a guy who I think was really good at helping get over other talent. Again, WWE feel like they have that department covered. They don't need that. Final person we're going to talk about here, Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs. Rock star extraordinaire, released from the company. A guy who has not been seen much on TV since he was injured at WrestleMania 38. And it was like a bad injury, tore up his knee. He was terrible to see. I watched it live. It was and it just seemed like him and Nakamura were like hitting their stride as a tag team. And yeah, it just didn't happen. Hopefully, again, he lands on his feet as well. Hopefully there's no more names. I don't know if I can take any more. I hope there's not. I hope everyone who got released today lands on their feet. I hope everyone who got released this week from WWE lands on their feet. Because remember, there were nearly 100 people who lost their jobs outside of these releases in WWE, reportedly at least. So also keep them in your thoughts. Keep them in your prayers and all that. So hate to do this type of video, but I want to keep you all informed. So let me know what you guys think about the releases in the comment section below. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video just like this one is released. And until next time, keep it real.